I got myself a new tent to try out. It was very kindly sent to me by a company called Camperlists. They've got a large range of Naturehike and Thru FUL gear tents in stock. I'll pop a link in the description below if you do want to check them out. They've sent me out the Lanshan 2 Pro in the 3-season version. It has a very small pack size of 23 centimeters by 15 centimeters, which is much bigger than a 1 litre Nalgene bottle. It weighs 950 grams for the tent, including the stuff sack. That weight does not include the tent pegs, which weigh 101 grams. You get 8 of these little aluminium pegs, which are, they're very, very small. You'd want really solid ground to use these. They are quite lightweight, and this is a little patch kit which will only work on the bathtub floor. It won't work to seal up the sil nylon fly sheet. Camperless also sent me the optional footprint, which by itself weighs 152 grams and the little bag weighs 9 grams. The fabric used on the outer fly sheet is the 20D double sil nylon with a 2000mm hydrostatic head. The inner mesh is a 20D nylon, with the inner for the 4-season version being a 15D nylon. The bathtub floor fabric is a 20D nylon with a 6000mm hydrostatic head. The fabric being a sil nylon does mean that you have to seam seal the tent yourself. Now, I do agree that it is a bit of a hassle, but it doesn't take very long. Once it's done, you don't have to worry about it again. And for the company to do it themselves, they'd have to charge you extra for the tent. So they're trying to keep it, low budget and just save on production costs. The little tube of seam sealer cost me about €12, and one tube is more than enough to do the tent. The one that I recommend is a Gear Aid seam sealer. Just make sure that you get the one that says plus sil on it. They do supply the syringe to help you just get into the seams. I used a little paintbrush and tried to do a nice tidy job on it. Top tip, don't use it in windy conditions, because I started off here and I was doing a nice tidy, nice sexy job on it, and by the time I got around the other side the wind picked up and I was kind of battling with the tent, like one arm there trying to get it nice and tidy. So just be careful with it and take your time, do a nice tidy job on it, and you won't have to worry about it again after that. Do it on a nice calm day where you can leave the tent out between 3 to 6 hours for it to dry. Now, unless you absolutely want to, you could seam seal these seams here, but it's really not necessary, because any water that drips through these seams is going to drip directly onto the floor. The same on the very end just here. If it's going to drip onto the floor outside, just leave it. If it's going to drip into your vestibule, you might want to seam seal it just to save any bits of gear getting wet inside. But just think about it before you do it. You might save yourself a bit of time. The bathtub on the inside does not have to be seam sealed, because it's all taped seams. Each tie-out point has a reinforcement patch on it. Fabric used called UHM WPE. It's a very tough material with the highest impact strength of any thermoplastic currently made, and it's got higher abrasion resistance than Teflon. So as you can see, there's a little dip in the middle here. That won't go out of it. I've tried pitching this a few times and I just can't get that to go out of it. I believe the reason is, on the original Lanshan there's a seam going right across the top of the tent, but this one is just one full sheet of fabric, which would add to the structural stability of the tent and reduce any weak points in it. It has 2mm reflective guy ropes, and all these little toggles are glow in the dark. All the guy lines come attached to the tent, and on each of the main guy lines you have these little loops. Don't open that loop, it's for the peg, and just don't open it. Down here you have 2 tie-out points. One is for the bathtub, the other is for the fly sheet. Both of them go onto the same peg, but just make sure that you put the one for the bathtub underneath the one for the fly sheet, because the tension on the one for the fly sheet will hold the bathtub one in place. If you do them the opposite way around, the likelihood is that during the night the bathtub tie-out point might just slip off the peg, because it's not too tight, there's not too much tension on it. The fly sheet, it has these nice easy adjusters. You just pull it and it goes tight, and then just flick it up and it'll loosen off for you. On both ends you have these tie-out points. This gives you a lot more headroom inside, and this one here allows for more ventilation inside the tent, which is really, really important. But when you adjust it, just pull it tight, and just make sure you adjust it down here as well, because this won't adjust over the peg itself. There is no adjustment on this bottom loop, so you will have to just give it a little tug out. It'll adjust, and then you can just tighten it up again. Just make sure it's nice and taut down here in the bottom. There is no knot or loop on this, so just wrap it around the peg once. Just do a little twist on it and shove it down. On each of the doors you have these storm flaps, which are secured with little Velcro tabs, and each door is fitted with a YKK zip. Another good feature of these zips It doesn't have a little steel tab on it, so it's not going to jangle in the wind. It just has these nice 3FUL gear tabs on it. The tie back for the doors is made of elastic, which makes a really nice snug fit and keeps the door nice and tidy. You do have extra vents just up here, one on both sides, just to help with the airflow through the tent. On the bottom of each of the doors you have this little black plastic clip with little hooks on either side. They just hook over the little bit of cord on the bottom of each door. They feel really solid and they catch really well, but they are a bit finicky to get on. So as you can see, you can fold back both doors on both sides and have a lot of ventilation inside the tent. This is a trekking pole tent, so it utilises your trekking poles, which cuts down on weight, and yeah, it just means that you don't have to carry tent poles as well as your trekking poles. So if you're backpacking and you don't use trekking poles, this might not be the tent for you. But if you do use trekking poles, this could be the tent for you. Now if you don't use trekking poles, this can be set up using, say, a branch or a stick that you find. Just pair off the top of the stick just so it doesn't damage the fabric. And yeah, it can definitely be done. I've done that with my other Lanshan too. Also, it can be suspended using a ridgeline and these little tabs. So, you know, there is other options out there other than trekking poles. Trekking pole fits really snugly up here, so there's no chance it's going to slip out during the night. Also, there's a little toggle down at the base just to put the trekking pole through to pull out that bathtub a little bit more. The inner has these YKK zips again with the nice little tab on it. So with the door folded back, you can really see the size inside the tent. There's plenty of room for 2 people. I have my Thermarest Neo Air X-Term in the large size and it's absolutely lost in here. There's loads and loads of room. Saying that, because this is a single skin tent, you are going to suffer with condensation issues. That's why there's so much ventilation. There's just loads and loads of ventilation all the way around, which is why it's really important to make sure that all the tie-out points are properly taut so that you can give yourself as much ventilation as possible. That's the main reason that I didn't go for the 4-season version, is because the side panels will be basically solid and there'll be a lot less airflow in through the tent, which I would imagine would affect the condensation inside. As you can see, there's a lot of headroom on the side of the tent, but with that dip in the ridge, I do have reduced headroom in the centre of the tent. It has 2 hooks, one either side. Just up here you can hang a little washing line up or hang up a lantern. There's a massive vestibule on each side, which is really good if you're using it for 2 people. If you're using it as a solo hiker, you've loads and loads and loads of room inside. You've loads of livable space. You can put your bag out one side and cook on the other side. Every tent will have some level of condensation. It's just physics, you know. Hot air on the inside meets cold air on the outside and it condenses on the fly sheet. The idea with this one is that the droplets will run down the inner of the fly sheet and drip off through the netting at the bottom. But that doesn't always work. You might need to get a little cloth just to wipe it down on the inside, keep it well ventilated, and you shouldn't have too much issues with it. The payoff is you get a lightweight tent, it's packable, it's really easy to pitch once you practice a few times, and you know, it's a nice solid tent. I hope you found this video useful and I'll see you in the next one.